Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, April 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get to the watch list, I first just want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you're liking what you see here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. But again, if you like what you see and you want to learn more, want to learn the power of how this tool can be used to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for that free class. A couple of quick clarification points before I get to the stocks. Number one, this price over here is still changing, and the candlestick itself will still be changing. The market's still open for a little bit of time, but I like to do these videos when the market's still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day action. So that's what's going on in that regard. Things are still moving because the market's technically open for a little bit of time here. And then also I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So what I mean by that for you beginners out there is that these candlesticks, as they're called, each one represents 30 minutes worth of time. So first one here, TWTR Twitter, had more craziness today, although quite a bit of a pullback here, but updates here need to be done. And the first thing I'm going to do is just make a foundational update, and this is just based on the idea in charting that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's going to be where this trend line comes into play. Got very close, and some would probably argue, which I would agree with, basically touched it right there and bounced. But moving forward, it's all kind of a first question is this trend line going to get tested? So that's the first question. And if it does, can this thing get a nice bounce back off that trend line? So keep an eye on that area, which sits right around, let's call it the $50 mark. If the price does come down to 50 and that trend line does not hold up, then the next key level of support would be down here right around $48.50. In the event the price does work its way back upwards, key level of resistance that stands out to me right up here at that level at, let's see, what is that? Just let me make sure. 53. Yeah, let's call it $53.25. So $53.25 if there is any sort of attempted turnaround. But as of now, I think the most interesting dynamic is for those pullback players out there, as they have a couple of different choices of where this thing could potentially bounce from. Next one, SBFM, and this is on here for very straightforward reasoning, and that reasoning is this trend line right here. And I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that's a great discovery. The exact opposite. I assure you a bunch of people have drawn that trend line, which is helpful and important because when a bunch of people are watching the same thing and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can certainly produce some very dynamic movements, and that's what we have with that line. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, is it valid? Is it plausible that if the price comes up to that area and breaks up through it, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is an absolutely, again, not a guaranteed thought process, but a plausible thought process to have. So keep a close eye on that level. And that's currently valid right up there around, let's call it $6.30. If you like to play pullbacks, then definitely the key pullback area to watch moving forward, going to be down here right around, let's see, that $5 mark. You can see several times today the price spent, quite a bit of time actually, like I said, down around that area before finally getting that late day bounce back up to that area. So if the price does continue to pull back, then $5 is a very interesting area from that angle. Next one, AMC, and it's looking like AMC is going to have a big trial here coming up. Now, this will mean a bit more to those that have watched past videos, but if you have, you know that from the support side of things, that what I've been talking about is that very famous line down there, the pink line, which on my chart represents that 200 period moving average. And because the price is above it, that would be considered an area of support. And, the price hasn't hit it yet, but it's definitely getting well within the range. So I think a lot of people, and rightfully so, are going to be watching that and wondering, if the price, does go down to that pink line, is it going to be able to actually hold strong? And the current value of that 200 period moving average, let's just call it right around $20.75. So $20.75, definitely a level that lots and lots of people, both longs and shorts, everybody in between, is going to be watching because, again, while that doesn't offer any guarantees, it does offer an area of, there's going to be a lot of potential self-fulfilling prophecies at that level. Now, if the price all of a sudden decides to bounce back upwards, then as I've talked about, that key level of resistance still remains up there, that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, and let's just call it currently at the $23 mark. Next one, SNDL, and what I'm going to do is just get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now, because really there's the two main dynamics here, which are that pink line, which you now know after me talking about AMC, is that 200 period moving average, and this is why on AMC it is important, because check this out, came down here, and surprise, surprise, found some buyers right around that area. Once again, that doesn't mean that on AMC the same thing's going to happen, but again, it goes back to being a plausible thought process to have. But as of now, the pink line, the 200 period here in SNDL has held, and you're going to want to see that continue to hold strong. If there is any sort of attempted bounce in the upwards direction, then the level that I think everybody is going to be watching is that trend line there, and rightfully so. I'm sure there's going to be some people watching that 50 period moving average. That also makes a very good sense. But the problem with that is, even if the price breaks up above that purple line, then not that far off, all of a sudden you have to worry about that trend line right there. Whereas if the trend line can also be broken, that then already implies that that 50 period moving average is in the rear view mirror of the price already. So that's why I would put a little more emphasis on that trend line right there. But the trend line and then that 200 period moving average, definitely going to be the two main levels headed into Wednesday. Next one, NIO, and first thing I'm going to do is actually just get rid of that line as it, actually, I take that back. I'm going to leave that level up there, and let's just call it right at the $24 mark. But the newer, the more relevant area of resistance now is right here at 23.15, and this is just based on that foundational rule that levels of support are broken and closed below. They tend to act as resistance. So again, yes, $24 is a level of resistance. My point here is that it's pretty irrelevant right now until the price can first at least get up to 23.15 and then break up through there. And then if that happens, then yeah, at that point, that's where the next big question mark resides, is at 24. But let's just first see if the price can even get back above 23.15, as that'll be that main area of resistance. As far as levels of support are concerned in the near term, so far so good. That purple line there, 50 period moving average, is doing a good job of providing support. But in the event the price ultimately fails and goes down below it, next key level of support would be that gap close location down there around $21.90. So let's see how this one continues to play out over the next couple of days. Next one, ATER, did this one on Monday and started off the day very nicely. Opening 30 minutes, you can see came down, broke through that red line, which I talked about. And for people that just are scalpers, day traders, very, very nice move for them. I mean, all the way up above $4. But the sad part is, true story, there were some people that were buying right there. So those people are not having a good day, as that was ultimately a fake breakout and back down the price went. But on the good news front, at least it wasn't a catastrophe in the sense of price up here, came down to that green line, and then just kept on going down through there. It actually came down to that green line, didn't hit it exactly, but got, I would think we can all agree, very close to it, and then ultimately did hold as support. So as far as the pattern is concerned, that I talked about yesterday, it's still in play. We have the resistance, we have the support, we have the momentum move. So the bull flag is still fully in play. The only difference now being there is that one, moment where it had a fake breakout. But again, that all just depends on strategy, because, guaranteed day traders, they had plenty of wiggle room to pull out some profits with that. But if you did and wanted more of a bigger move, well, then yeah, those people unfortunately didn't get that. But like I said, from the big picture perspective, the overall pattern is still in play. Next one, TANH, nice penny stock here with a very well-defined breakout area. So it goes back to the whole idea and concept of these self-fulfilling prophecies, which in my mind sits right up here around that 71 cent mark. And I don't want to repeat everything, but just as a friendly reminder, once again, no guarantees, but completely valid to think that if the price can get up here and then break through 71 cents, that level could create some good upside buying pressure. And then as far as supports are concerned, got a nice trend line right there. So let me change that to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic of the pattern. And then just to keep the overall pattern one color and maybe make it easier to see, we have resistance, we have support, we have the momentum move. Let's put our little golf hole down here, and this will be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play penny stocks, here you go. Keep this one on your watch list. Next one here, ANY. And what makes this interesting is the final 30 minutes, which you can see right here, good solid green candle. And also the fact that it's pulled back quite a bit already. And that's important because at least you don't have to worry about being the sucker that buys the top, right? You don't have to worry about the paranoia of, I don't know, am I chasing the price? Am I suffering from FOMO? No, that's already happened, right? The people that were suffering from FOMO, the suckers that bought the top, that was right there. So you got the pullback. Now you have some strength. So it just brings up a more than valid question of, all right, is this potentially the return back upwards? Maybe not even to these highs, but even if it gets somewhat up there, from a trading standpoint, there could still be some potential, a room for a profit there. But like I said, it's at least an interesting situation now, and that's the whole idea behind a watch list, to find interesting situations, to find areas where you have some interesting dynamics going on, and then watching them to see if anything does ultimately happen that you could structure a trade plan around. And like I said, for the reasons discussed, big move up, got the pullback. Now this final 30 minutes showing some strength here. Worth at least watching for sure on Wednesday. Next one, DDL. And this is another one very interesting because late day got the breakout right there of that 695 mark, which you can see. And with the break, price ran up here, but then ultimately could not maintain it and back down it goes. So I think a lot of people will still could be watching that $6.95 to $7 range as a potential breakout. But you're also going to have people, and rightfully so, saying, all right, that was a failed breakout, but there is still overall strong momentum. I mean, you can't deny that from where it was. I mean, so things are still, flowing the upwards direction. But point here being is maybe people that like to buy pullbacks within overall uptrends, they're now going to be very interested down here around $5.75, which again, not guaranteed, but nobody could accuse you of saying that that's some sort of random area on the chart. No, there's been buying in the past there, so worth at least keeping an eye on. But like I said, you got to like the fact that this thing's had a nice overall movement, big volume today. Now you have a couple of well-defined levels for both breakout players and pullback players. So let's see how it all continues to play out on Wednesday. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and a very rough day on this one, especially when you consider that the opening 30 minutes, the price actually did break through that area of resistance, made a nice little move, and then just, again, true story. Some people were buying there. Hopefully they honored stop losses and didn't hold and hope, because if they did, they got absolutely crushed on the day. But pointer being, big pullback now, and it's just the question of, okay, well, how much further does this pullback want to go? And what I'm very, very interested in is this trend line right there, which puts the price down right around, let's call it 1075. So let me actually change that to green real quick to represent a bullish dynamic of it. So 1075 is an area I think a lot of people will be watching because of that trend line, because you have these general previous lows right there. So if Tesla does go down, again, one of those watch list type moments, worth watching and seeing what happens, because you're going to have bears that are thinking, all right, if this breaks, I want to get short. You're going to have bulls saying, well, I don't know, this thing's bounced before. I want to get long from a bounce. Both people are more than valid, more than logical, but there are no guarantees, and that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right and wrong about that premise right there around that level, and we'll see what happens with it, but that's certainly the level that I think most people will be watching and curious about right around, again, 1075. If the price does try to bounce back upwards, then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, that's an interesting dynamic right there, which sits around, let's just call it 1110. But in my mind, the most important, not important, but the most interesting dynamic is down around 1075. So let's see if it comes into play or not. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for that free class. Like I said, it'll be later on in the week, Thursday, April 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely get signed up for it, and hopefully I'll see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, then let me know, because I have no problem at all continuing to do these videos, putting the time and effort. I just want to make sure that you're enjoying, and you can communicate that to me by hitting the like button and leaving a basic comment, even if it's just saying hi. Tell me a ticker symbol that you traded today. Tell me something that you're watching for tomorrow. But like button and leaving a basic comment really do go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy these. And like I said, as long as I know how people are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the time and effort to get these videos created. So again, if you like what you saw here, certainly get signed up for that free class later on in the week. Hopefully I'll see you there. Everybody take care. Have a good one.